Hey YouTubers, this is the Anonymous Reality TV blogger. Today we are reviewing Love Island Australia Season 3, Episode 7. So the episode kind of picks up where basically Emily kind of comes in hot, shaking the table, flirting with the guys and everything, trying to get Mitch to kiss her and stuff. And, Tina and everybody calling it, Emily Island, because that was when they played the game, of course. Like if they were to couple up, if any of the guys were able to couple up with any other female that was in the villa, with the exception of Aaron and the exception of Chris, they all said pretty much that they would couple up with Emily if they had that opportunity. And so then there was some more drama because Taku had wanted to pull Jess aside and that evening and kind of just, have another debrief as far as, their conversation earlier about her wanting to explore her options and talk with other people. And then as well as her basically just going back to, getting things moving along with Aaron. And so essentially that conversation got weird because they're in the bedroom and he's trying to, explain to her, he's asking her, okay, when did you know that you still had feelings for Aaron? Was it before the recoupling? Was it after the recoupling? And so she said she didn't know before. It wasn't until after the recoupling. And so then, he's asking her, okay, I'm feeling some regret, saying all these wonderful things about you. And then literally the next day, you say that you are, back to having feelings again for Aaron. So how am I supposed to feel? And so Jess gets upset that, she's mad that he's like taking all these things back. And so he's trying to explain to her and he calls her sweetie. And then she kind of gets defensive and she's like, don't call me sweetie. And it was kind of weird because I'm like, Taku's like the nicest person and he is trying to be calm and, really kind of lay everything out. And I'm like, you call everybody baby. What's wrong with that? So, it was just a weird conversation, and basically Taku was just trying to basically say, hey, I'm not trying to be a part of this triangle. I'm removing myself because I don't want it to be a situation where today you're into Aaron, tomorrow you're into me. And Jess is like, well, we are allowed to have interest in more than one person or want to get to know different people because nobody's exclusive. And so I agree with Jess on that point. Yes. Nobody is exclusive at this point in the show. It's only been, a little over a week or so. But the problem is Jess has taken these big gestures from Taku and, would be all in with him, making out with him, doing all this stuff, and then just completely pulling back. And she did the same thing with Aaron. And even though there was drama with Jordan, she did the same thing with him. Like, she completely cut him off, like, the moment that, he did something she didn't like. And then in the opposite end with Aaron and Taku, the moment that they really showed their interest, she pulls back. And if I'm Aaron, even though he's had some moments where he's kind of not been the nicest, I wouldn't put all my eggs in Jess either, because the instant that a new bombshell comes in or somebody else really shows her the attention that Taku and Aaron have given her, that she's going to jump ship and, be all over that new person. So that's where it was like, it was just really weird because I thought I compared her in an earlier video to Liberty from UK season 7, but she is not Liberty at all. I mean, she's nice. She means well, but she has to scale back in terms of how she's moving with these guys. It's fine if you want to keep your options open, but don't be all over these guys too, leading them on to think that you're more into them than what you actually are. If you want to hang back and wait for them to really chase you and really court you, that's one thing. But if you're just going all in with them the second that they tell you that they really like you, and then you pull back literally the next day and tell them there's not a spark, or you have a feelings for another person, it's too many back and forth. You're playing this seesaw game essentially with her. And it's unfortunate because I don't think whenever the next public vote's going to be for Australia, she's going to be the favorite on the female Islander side. It's more than likely going to be Tina, is what I'm thinking. So basically after that, Taku kind of debriefed with Ronnie on what happened, and Jess debrief with the girls on what happened. And so then Jess tells the girls that she's not comfortable now sleeping in the bed, and she wants to sleep outside in the day bed with Aaron. So she goes to ask Aaron, and Aaron, of course, was not turning her down for that. And so they go and sleep in the day bed or whatever. And so then the next day, Ronnie is up and he is teaching, some type of different Spanish dances and so forth. And he has like Ari as his partner, even though he's coupled up with Courtney. And so he's up here teaching like these lessons, and he's telling the guys though that he also kind of is feeling Ari too. I'm not sure about this particular moment if the Ari and Ronnie connection is legit or not, because I'm pretty sure there's a recoupling coming up soon, so more to come on that. But basically, Ronnie was kind of being extra with Ari and like his flirting, and wanted her to be his dance partner and all this and that. And then it caused some waves with Courtney. Courtney kind of got pissed and like walked away. Also, the ladies had debriefed because something more intimate took place with Rachel and Chris overnight. However, they really didn't say how far things went in particular, but they were speaking to that. And then Tina is kind of just, of course, still kind of debriefing with everybody in terms of how they feel about Emily and how she's like really into Mitch, and Mitch is playing like a shy kid, like not knowing what to do and all this and that. And also Aaron's also hyping up Ronnie and telling him, that you look better with Ari, because I think he's looking out for his BFF and this and that. So compared to his other friendships on the show. Then there's like this chicken walking around that they keep like featuring, that's like coming in like the dressing room and different things. So then they get a text that there is a challenge, and it's basically like this 80s challenge where they're in like these 80s workout clothes, and you have to like jump on a trampoline, you have to like do some type of stretch on a yoga mat, and then like the female has to like ride her bike while the man sprays like water on her. And then they have to like lay down on this like vibrating thing, and then make some type of protein shake or whatever, and then try to drink it while they're on this like vibrating thing. And then if they want, then they can like kiss after that or whatever. And so Aaron was like foaming at the mouth when Jess and Taku did their bit. And then also all of the couples pretty much did their own thing. Chris really came out of his shell because he's kind of been kind of quiet and reserved, but he like really showed his personality doing this. And then Emily had to go, of course, because she's not in a couple. So she ended up choosing Mitch, or she wanted to choose Mitch, I'm sorry. She was like looking at Mitch, and he and Tina were kind of like, attached. So she ended up choosing Taku. I don't think she really wanted to choose Taku. I think she just chose him because she wanted to make Mitch jealous. And so then, they did their challenge or whatever. And so then at the end, when everybody voted, I thought for the girls, Tina was going to win, but they actually chose Emily for the win. So I think they were just doing that to be nice because she was new. And so then Emily amps it up and like starts making out with Taku in front of everybody. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's like totally laying this on thick to make Mitch jealous. And then for the men, Chris, of course, won. So And then it was weird because in the confessional, Ari and Aaron's like doing all the commentary kind of on all the couples and how everybody's doing and this and that. And so then they go to Taku and Jess and talking about how Chris and Rachel did. And Jess is like, yeah, I'm in love with Chris. He really did an amazing job, blah, blah, blah. And Taku's like, what? He was like, see? He's like, next on Love Island, it's going to be Jess and Chris. And she's like, oh, no, I don't mean it like that. But it was funny considering the fact, if you guys recall the previous episode, Chris said, in that game that they played, if he was not coupled up with Rachel, who would he couple up with? Who would he be interested in? It would be Jess. So it was just funny that kind of happened like the following day, essentially. So then after the challenge, they come back and they're basically getting ready for the evening, having like their nightly toast and all of that good stuff. Ronnie and Courtney have a chat basically to kind of clear the air about what happened earlier with him, doing the flirting and the dancing with Ari. Even though the night before they were like kissing in bed and stuff. And so basically Ronnie tells Courtney that he is interested in both Ari and her equally. And so that he doesn't want her to get upset if he sees, if she sees him talking to Ari, basically, and that he kind of has feelings for her as well. So Taku is overhyping up Ari. Aaron's hyping up Ronnie all day about Ari, and then after Ronnie and Courtney have this conversation, he goes over and starts to talk to Ari about the potential of, them pursuing things and this and that. And Ari was like, well, if you are interested, you need to be 100% sure that you're interested, because I'm not going to have you be interested in me and then you're kissing all over, Courtney every night, because she doesn't want the drama that happened with Ryan, where initially he kind of wanted to still see if something was there, tried to make it seem like that. But then the instant, him and Lexi started sharing a bed, it was pretty much over. Like, he was just done. Or he was never interested in Argy in the first place, which is completely possible as well. So Ronnie's confused. And I want to say shout out to Ronnie. Even though he has made some creepy and weird comments the first week or so, he was right about the fact that girls claimed to be disgusted by him. Literally the night before, the girls said that they never wanted to share a bed with Ronnie. And now all of a sudden he's getting all this play, with Emily asking him out on a date, with him now being interested in by Courtney and Ari. So he was right when he said that girls claim to be disgusted by him, and then the next week they want to sleep with him. So I think it might just be his personality, where it's just something that people get used to or have to get used to or accustomed to, and then they start to see his more nicer and gentle side, and then girls start to lose their mind. So it's kind of what happened there. So then there was some drama with Rachel and Chris the same evening, because she felt that she was putting in all of the work with Chris in terms of always pulling him for a chat. He's never pulling her for a chat. And then she had kind of an insecurity about him telling the other women that they were pretty in addition to her. And so she was upset about that for whatever reason. I don't know if she felt that it meant that Chris was trying to flirt with them or trying to be with them, and Chris was trying to tell her, I'm only interested in you. Of course, I'm going to be nice and compliment the other girls, but the girls all know that it's just friend vibes with them, and I'm all in on you. And so she's like, well, maybe I'm too much for you, if you can't, respect this and respect that and blah, blah, blah. And so Chris was just like, I'm over it. I'm not listening to the rest of this. And he just gets up and walks away. And Mitch and Tina are at the other day bed, and they're looking around, and they're like, okay, is everything okay? And, Chris is like, no. So then after that, they kind of have a separate thing where, Chris kind of, debriefs and explains kind of his side to, the guys. And then, Rachel kind of explains what happened. And so they try to, basically swoop in and try to fix the situation and try to tell them, how to communicate and how to resolve the issue. And then also from there, Emily goes over to Mitch and she's trying to flirt with him and, trying to get him to kiss her and do all this stuff. And Tina had a great impression of her where she's like doing all this laughing and trying to like show her chest and do all this stuff. And I thought it was weird because I was like, Emily, you don't have to go this route. Like the day before, you had everybody losing their minds, just off of your personality. And now she's resorting to kind of like using her looks and things to try to, get Mitch to kiss her, but she didn't need to do all of that. So then Mitch goes and tells the guys, he like pulls them in the villa and tells them that, he's in trouble, that she's like doing all this stuff, and, Emily's trying to get him caught up. And then him and Tina get back and debrief, and Tina tries to ask him about, what was the conversation with him and Emily, and he's like, oh, I don't remember, and playing dumb, basically, like he wasn't flirting back. And he's like in the confessionals basically saying, yeah, he's been a bad boy, he's been guilty, kind of taking advantage of, what's taking place. So then they get a text that there is a game to play, over by the fire pit. So the game basically is like a truth and a lie game, to where each couple, one of them reads on their cue cards like something that's a fact, but one of the couples is lying about the fact. So each of the couples go up in terms of, each read their fact, and basically the rest of the islanders have to vote on who they think between the two is lying. So there were some good liars, and essentially whoever won between who was the best liar would have the opportunity to go to the hideaway. So ended up being that Courtney and Ronnie won, as well as Lexi and Ryan won for being the best liars, and everybody not being able to correctly guess who was the liar between those two couples. So then they got to vote, and obviously since Ryan and Lexi were in a couple longer than Courtney and Ryan, everybody just voted for Ryan and Lexi to go to the hideaway. So they're both getting ready to go to the hideaway. And then, Aaron's hyping up Ryan and telling him, yeah, you need to tell her that you're going to articulate yourself more, and you're going to talk to her more, and you're going to open up more. You got to show her that you're really interested. And it's so weird, like this dynamic with Aaron, because I feel like Taku was like the leader of the guys, the leader of the pack. And then the moment that he was announced as the fan fave, that everybody in Australia liked him the most, I felt like some people kind of took a step back, because it sounds like Jordan and Ryan are like the closest to Taku, and Ryan was at one point, but now it seems like he's team Aaron. But now it's like Taku mainly has Ronnie now that Jordan's gone. So now it seems that everybody just gravitates to Aaron for advice, which is kind of weird, because I felt like he's kind of been, kind of mean to some of the women as well on his part. So it's kind of weird that they're like going to him to ask him about everything. So anyways, he's giving Ryan this big pep talk, and, him and Lexi, they go to the hideaway. The setup is like popcorn and wine and some chocolates and some other things. And, then they just kind of start talking, and then Ryan like verbatim tells Lexi what Aaron just told him like a few minutes to say to her, that he was like, wanted to use his words more and wanted to be more articulate. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And so then, they start talking, they start making out or whatever. And so that's basically kind of how the episode ends, essentially. So the preview, which I will do in a little bit because we're kind of doing a double today, is they are showing basically some type of recoupling, and I think a girl is going to be eliminated. Unfortunately, I feel as though they kind of spoiled who goes based off of the promo, if I am right. So I'm going to circle back. I'm going to watch the episode, and I will review the latest episode coming up here. Please let me know your guys' thoughts. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.